for MSMEs becoming companies, because what we would like to do at the SEC is to invite or get these MSMEs, most of which are sole proprietorships, individuals, into the formal economy by becoming corporations. Hopefully, on the long term, they will become publicly listed companies to help develop our capital market. We also, even for non-MSMEs, again, to help further encourage the development of capital market, we also extended the discounts at a time bound though it may be, just to demonstrate that in the SEC we're serious at easing doing business in the Philippines and developing our capital market. Even little matters like getting documents from the SEC. In fact, that was the first circular that I issued. We reduced our fees by 50%. Again, that may not be very big measure, but it sends a strong message that we want our stakeholders, especially the investors, to have ready access to documents so that they can really see whether the companies that they want to invest in are worth investing in the Chairman. And that's also in line with transparency. We want the documents readily accessible at the least possible cost to our investors, Mr. Chairman, and especially people who really want to invest their money into the formal economy, Mr. Chairman. We also relaxing our rules on, as I said, in implementation of the ARCA, the 3 days, 7 days, 20 working days, Mr. Chairman. Again, in line with our DIB-approved policy, that if we are not able to deliver on those timelines, the transaction is DIB-approved. Of course, subject to certain exceptions like companies getting secondary licenses. For example, if you're a stockbroker, of course, we have to do extra due diligence. That's why these are exempted from the 20-day rule, Mr. Chairman. Even on, again, on capital markets, we have this 45-day deadline. But what was happening in the past was it was 45 days for the SEC to approve the application, but it's the applicant that gets the internal clearances from the SEC, other departments of the SEC. So what we did is the SEC itself will get the clearances from its other departments, but that's included within the 45-day period. Again, we extended the lifetime of shelf registration from 3 years to 5 years. So shelf registration, if you want to raise money from the public, you will register self-registration, so you don't have to file again registration statements when you go second time, third time. So we give before there was this system, but it's only limited for 2 years, but we extended it to 5 years. So just to make our companies to enable our companies to the chance to raise capital when the economy when there are opportunities instead of filing it after the 3-year period. So these are things that we've done, Mr. Chairman.
Salamat, lalo na po yung mga maliliit na negosyante. Yun po ang unahin niyo po. Yun yung mga walang kakilala, walang connection whatsoever. Yun ang nangailangan po ng tulong ninyo. Yung mga mahiraman, may contact naman sa inyo lahat yun. Anyway, is to DOC Commissioner, I'm sorry, sa ating Bureau of Internal Revenue, Commissioner Romeo Lumage Jr. Ano po ang hakbang ninyo rito para mas gawing mas simple po or SME friendly ang tax compliance na hindi sila natatambakan ng multa po at surcharge po? Yun, kawawa naman pag masa-surcharge pa sila. Liit na nga ng kita, liit ng negosyo. Yun po, sanang bigyan nyo po ng pansin at tulungan yung mga maliliit na negosyante po.
Unang po yung nakatuon po tayo dyan sa mga SMEs din po. We're doing an aggressive also on information dissemination para maturuan ng SMEs para sa tamang pag-comply, and also pursuant to the ease of paying taxes, pinaiksi rin po natin yung mga tax forms na sinasubmit po nila. And yung ating pong online facilities, we have established e-lounges nationwide. Sa lahat po ng mga district offices, nagpatayo po tayo ng mga e-lounges na kung saan pwede po silang gumamit ng mga computers at mga mag-avail ng online services ng BIR, at meron pong dedicated revenue officer na tutulong at gagabay sa kanila para maturuan silang gumamit ng mga online facilities, na meron po tayo dyan yung online registration and update system kung saan pwede po sila magrehistro at kung saan din pwede sila mag-update ng kanilang registration. And also yung pag-file ng kanilang mga returns, pwede po silang turuan dyan. Kung hindi nila kayang gawin, kung wala po silang mga internet sa bahay nila, pwede pong gawin po yan sa mga district offices na tinatayo po nating mga e-lounges. And again, patuloy pa rin yung ating pag-improve ng mga online facilities para naman na matulungan pa po sila at tuloy-tuloy yung aming information na dissemination.
Salamat. At yung sa hindi masyadong kabisado sa online po, sana magabayan niyo po ng maayos. Hindi sila mahirapang pumila sa inyong opisina, at yung checklist na dapat nilang gawin to comply para hindi po umabot sa puntong magbabayad sila ng mga surcharges po. Pakitulong na lang po ang mga maliliit na negosyante, Commissioner.
Yes, we'll do po.
Salamat po. Balikan ko lang yung SEC, no? Ang dami nitong investment scams sa ngayon. Ako po, nabibiktima rin po ako nito. Nagamit yung pangalan natin na ito, mag-invest kayo, kikita kayo, bibigyan kayo ng ganito. Iba't ibang artificial intelligence or deepfakes, yung mukha natin nagagamit doon, ginagamit ng mga scam. Ano bang ginagawa ng DOF at ng SEC nito to combat investment scams? At ito rin po online lending, nagpapautang, tapos kung hindi nagbayad, pinapahiya. Yun ang marami rin po nagsusumbong. Baka tingnan niyo po ito ng mabuti, itong investment scams, panloloko po ito. Yung iba naman, kawawa rin mga kababayan natin, naluloko rin. Konti na nga lang yung pera nila ay nagagamit pa sa investment sa scams na ito. Baka please, gawan niyo po ng paraan po ito, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, we are in the process of strengthening our enforcement and investigation department. Because as you correctly stated, investment scams are proliferating to the damage and prejudice of our people, especially those who are in need of money, who are very susceptible to being scammed, so to speak. We have 5 cases, even on lending, scams, lending practices, that pinapaya, as you said, yung mga malilit na borrowers natin. In fact, the data would show that there were 31 cases already, and some of them have resulted into convictions. We have raided these places, and we issue cease and desist orders. We issue, we even revoke license.
Aside from NBI, pwede bang mag-report sa SEC? Meron ba kayo opisina?
Pwede ho.
Hotline ba kayo to report?
Hotline or through email, pwede ho. In fact, the data would show that in 2025 alone, we received about 10,120 complaints, and we addressed 6,400 dead. The reason why we could not address everybody, anonymous yung iba wala silang contact details. Pero kung hindi anonymized, out of the 116 that we received, we address all of them. So, yun, ang napansin din namin, meron din mga lukulukong borrowers, sila sa sarili nila, na parang pinapaya pagkatapos tinatanong namin, hindi na ba, sila pala parang hindi ba, they want to come to the SEC, come to it, but they don't to give details, Mr. Chairman. So yun, it's again, as I said, enforcement and investigation is a top priority in the SEC now. I know that may mga deep fake In fact, yung mga online, pumupunta kami sa NTC, ano namin sa Google Play, in an effort to really have these people. But I'd like to stress a point, Mr. Chairman, as Senator. Yung financial literacy is the best defense against, is the, I think, the best tool for investor protection. And I'd like to public thank you, Senator Go, because I saw a bill, no? Where you aim to make financial literacy subject a core or mandatory subject for our high school students. No, I was given a copy of that, and I really and then there's a counterpart bill in the House. No, and I really hope that ACC can work with you to make this a reality, because it has been a long pending project. Even back in my PSC days, I wanted to make financial literacy a core or mandatory subject for our students, because I do believe, and the data would show that if our people are financially literate, the less likely they are to become susceptible to financial scams, Mr. Chairman, Senator. I hope that we can work on with this, and you would support us, because it will go a long way to protecting the investing public.
Salamat po. Paki-publish lang yung inyong hotline kung sila pwedeng mag-report, at hindi yung sa amin sila magre-report pa, at dapat select at para ma-address ka agad.
Yes.
Ng SEC itong mga problema.
We've done that. We have investor education program, anti-scam initiatives kami, no? And we're doing our best, Mr. Chairman.
Opo. Ito yung Senate Bill 672, making financial literacy and entrepreneur
core subject
as core subjects in basic education. Tulungan po tayo.
Tulungan na lang tayo.
Anyway, last question na po to Secretary Ralph Recto. Sir, for the record po, I am against unprogrammed funds, especially pag nagagamit po ito masyadong broad na nagagamit na po siya for naging natatawag na ni Senator Win as naging pork barrel po itong unprogrammed funds, kung hindi po alam ng Pilipino kung saan po nagagamit, hindi itemized sa ating national budget. At balikan ko lang po yung 2024. Nandun po yung sa provision na pwedeng gamitin ng pwedeng walisin ng National Treasury ng Bureau of Treasury o ng Finance yung mga excess funds. At nagkaroon tayo ng discussion yan sa Committee on Health dito sa Senado, at nagkaroon po ako ng 14 hearings including health emergency allowances ng mga health workers at ito po sa PhilHealth. Kung gamitin naman po yung excess funds pambayad sa health emergency allowances ng mga health workers, wala naman po masama. Dahil services rendered po yun, pinagpawisan po nila yun at pinaghirapan ng panahon ng pandemya ang ating mga modern day heroes. Kaya lang po, yung excess funds kinuha po ng National Treasury, yun po yung ginamit for unprogrammed funds. At noong 2024, meron pong pinabalik na 89.9 billion. Salamat po sa Supreme Court na nagkaroon sila ng TRO at hindi inubos yung 89.9 billion, 60 billion po ang napunta sa National Treasury. Kaya nag-order po ang Presidente this year na ibalik po yun. Yun ang katanungan ko is paano po yun ibabalik sa PhilHealth for this year, o i-fund po ang PhilHealth next year. At pinaalala ko naman po sa PhilHealth natin, as early as last year, sabi ko sana kung ginastos niyo yung pondo ng PhilHealth sa tama, kung nagawa nilang yung mga reforma, ginawa nila ng Disyembre, nag-board meeting sila, yung mga additional case rates, yung mga additional packages, yung mga old policies nila, tinanggal na nila. Kung ginawa nila ng Enero ng July, at Enero po ng 2024, wala silang excess funds, walang wawalisin ang Department of Finance o ang Bureau of Treasury. So, walang excess funds Kasi para po sa akin, ang PhilHealth